Hey guys, tonight we're traveling farther back than we've ever gone before, tens of thousands of years ago, to a world where fire was a treasure, clothing was a desperate improvisation, and every sunrise might be your last. Tonight, we begin in the Stone Age, where you are not a visitor. You are someone who lives here. You're hungry, cold, cautious, and trying, day by day, to stay alive. Spoiler, it's not going well. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know in the comments what time it is where you're listening from and what part of the world you're watching in. I love seeing where these stories go. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake before the sun. It's not peaceful. You're cold, hungry, and your hip hurts from the rock it's been pressed against all night. The animal skin that serves as your blanket has slid half off your body, and your breath curls into the morning like smoke. You don't rise slowly. You roll sideways onto your elbows, groaning as you go, your muscles stiff from yesterday's walking. Every day involves walking. Too much of it. For berries, for wood, for water. For no reason at all except that life demands movement. Around you, others are waking too. Your band, maybe 12 of them today. Maybe 14 if the two from the river group are still here. They grunt and shift beneath their hides and woven mats, coughing the damp out of their lungs. There is no privacy. There is no alone time. You slept with someone's foot in your ribs and a toddler's elbow against your cheek. You scan for the fire. It's low, but it's there. The embers glow a faint orange, surrounded by ash. If it had gone out, you'd be in trouble. Not end-of-the-world trouble, but start of a very bad day trouble. Someone would have to go looking for coals, or worse, make fire from scratch. Again, fire is not a convenience. It is your hearth, your stove, your torch, your weapon, and your insurance against a very long, very cold death. You shiver once, a hard, involuntary twitch. Your tunic, woven plant fiber and fur, is stiff at the seams, damp from condensation. You touch your shoulder and your fingers come away wet. Not with blood, just dew. Just the normal kind of miserable. The first thing you do is look for food. You know better than to expect much. A few dried berries in a pouch. Maybe a smoked strip of something, rabbit, mouse, vole. If there was a kill yesterday, there might be marrow left in a cracked bone. There is not. You chew a bit of pine resin. Not because it's good. Just because it gives your teeth something to do while your stomach sulks. One of the elders mutters something about the weather. You glance at the sky. Low clouds, heavy with cold. If it rains again, the shelter won't keep it out. It barely keeps out air. You step outside the overhang of rock where your group slept. Your feet are bare. You flinch as they meet stone, then earth, then frost. You breathe deeply. The air smells of smoke, animal dung, moss. You smell the river. You smell wolves. The sun is beginning to rise, a smear of orange through a thick haze. You watch it for a moment. Not for wonder. Just to know what kind of day this will be. Already, your head is calculating. Where are the roots? Where did the berries last grow? Did you see rabbit tracks yesterday? Has the wind changed? Do you remember which patch of mushrooms made you sick? You can't afford to forget. Forgetting is fatal. You crouch near the stream and rinse your mouth. The water is frigid. It shocks your teeth. You drink anyway. Someone behind you starts humming, a rhythmic, low sound. It's not music. It's memory, the kind that says, "This is what we do. This is how we make the firewood stack last. This is how we bury our dead." You look down at your hands. They are cracked, calloused, strong. You do not feel strong, but you are still here, and that is something. You stand now, spine straightening as far as it's willing. Your joints complain, especially the knee that twisted 2 moons ago while running from that boar. It never quite healed right. The air is crisp, stone cold, you might say, slicing through your tunic like it knows exactly where your ribs are thinnest. You step forward anyway, out from under the rocky lip that served as your roof last night, and into the open world. Your feet sink into soil laced with frost. The dirt gives a little, thawing beneath you like old bread softening over a fire. It smells alive and vaguely threatening. The land stretches wide and unknowable around you. No fences, no paths, no signs that say what belongs to whom. You glance around at the silhouettes of trees, low scrub, scattered boulders. Everything looks like it might be hiding something. A predator, a food source, a person you don't know and therefore can't trust. You take another breath. The air enters sharp, cold, a bit smoky from last night's fire. You can taste the difference from yesterday, less moisture. That matters. It means different routes might be reachable. It means the stream will run more slowly. It means your skin will dry out faster, crack along your hands, your lips. Everything here talks to you if you listen. It's just that the language is a quiet one, and unforgiving if misunderstood. Your stomach growls again, loud enough that the others glance over. No judgment, just acknowledgement. Hunger is a communal affliction. You consider going east. That's where the elder thinks the last of the berries might be. You also consider staying put, but that never lasts long. Stillness is dangerous in the Stone Age. If you're not moving, you're not looking. And if you're not looking, you're not eating, or you are being eaten. Your walking stick leans against the rock. You grab it. It's not much, an old branch, polished by use, not quite straight, but it helps. You feel better with it in your hand. Taller, slightly more capable of fending off wild dogs or curious snakes. You start walking. Your feet know the rhythm. The soft pad of earth, the occasional crunch of bone-dry twig. You avoid the mossy stones, slippery with dew. You keep to the shaded side of the trees, not for cover, but because that's where the last of the mushrooms grew last season. As you move, you notice everything. A drooping cluster of red berries, inedible, bitter, the kind that makes your stomach twist like a rope. Scratch marks on a tree, bare, not old. A pile of feathers, something got a bird here. Left in a hurry. A broken shell, someone else passed this way. Not from your band. Another group, perhaps. You see a footprint near it. Wide heel, narrow toe. You don't recognize it. You keep walking. Historians argue whether Stone Age people wandered aimlessly or followed seasonal paths. You know the answer. You follow what feeds you. Roots when the ground softens. Fish when the water thickens. Herds when they move, if you're lucky enough to keep up. But luck is scarce. You stop at a patch of reeds. The ground here is spongy. You kneel, digging with your fingers. They're numb. You find something. A root, thin, bitter. You taste a corner of it. Your mouth puckers. but it won't kill you. You wrap the rest in a leaf and tuck it into your belt. Progress. You hear a call behind you. 2 quick clicks of the tongue. A signal. Someone from your band is nearby. You answer. 2 clicks, 1 hum. You're not alone. Good and not. Company means safety. Company also means splitting the root. The trees sway above you. A bird cries in the canopy. A squirrel darts past your feet, more startled than you are. You watch it vanish into the underbrush and briefly, foolishly wish you could be it. Small, fast, unbothered. But you are human, which means you're stuck out here in a world that's trying, subtly, persistently to kill you. Cold, predators, infection, hunger. You're not the strongest. You're not the fastest. Your teeth are mediocre. Your claws are non-existent. All you have are your eyes, your hands, your brain, and those need rest. But not yet. You grip your walking stick tighter and keep moving. You are cold. Not the kind of cold that makes you shiver for a few minutes and then laugh about it with friends. Not the kind you fix with a thicker blanket or a second pair of socks. This is the kind of cold that finds its way through fur and skin and bone. The kind that settles in your joints and decides to stay. You adjust the hide around your shoulders, old deerskin, stiff at the edges, patched twice with sinew and regret. It keeps the wind off, mostly, but nothing stops the damp. The air itself feels wet, not in droplets, but in weight, like the whole world is breathing down your neck. Your hands are cracked. The skin at the knuckles splits when you clench your fists. You do it anyway, just to feel something, just to remind yourself that your fingers still move. You reach up and retie the strap of your woven tunic. The knot slipped again. You've tightened it with rawhide, but the lacing frays where it crosses your shoulder. You make a mental note to fix it, if you find another strip of leather, if the boar from last week's kill hasn't already rotted, if the crows didn't get there first. Your boots, or rather the scraps of fur you've tied around your feet, are soaked. The ground is always wet here. There's no such thing as dry moss. The moment your soul touches it, it clings, soaks, pulls at your steps like it wants to keep you. You keep walking. Historians often debate what kind of clothing Stone Age people wore. They speak of furs, of plant fibers, of crude woven garments. What they don't always mention is how badly these things work when the sky is falling in droplets the size of beetles, and the temperature hovers just above freezing for days at a time. Clothing isn't fashion here. It's survival. And most days, it's barely enough. You remember when your cousin fell into the stream last winter. It wasn't deep, but the cold hit her so fast she couldn't move. She made it out, but she coughed for weeks afterward. She stopped talking after a while, then she stopped breathing. She was wrapped in all the furs you had. It wasn't enough. You stop under a tree for a moment, not for shelter, it leaks, but just to catch your breath. Your legs are tired, your shoulders ache, your ears are numb. You turn slowly, checking the shadows. A rustle to your right. Bird. Maybe. You keep going. There's something about this cold that changes how you think. Your thoughts get shorter, sharper, less like stories and more like signals. Food, warmth, shelter, stay, move. You step wrong on a stone hidden beneath leaves. Your ankle twists just a little, enough to make you wince. You steady yourself with your stick, press your teeth together, and keep going. There is no option to stop. Stopping is not allowed. Your breath fogs as you walk. You hold your hands near your mouth, trying to warm them. It helps. Slightly. Your nose runs. You wipe it with your sleeve. The wetness freezes there, a stiff patch near your elbow. You don't even bother scraping it off. It'll dry eventually. The wind picks up. You turn your back to it. Let your body shield your face. The wind smells of rain and ash and pine sap. It slides beneath your collar and trickles down your spine like a melted icicle. You curse softly, not out loud, just in your head. You adjust your hood. 2 stitched pieces of rabbit fur held together with a braided cord, and keep moving. You wonder, not for the first time, if the cold can hear your thoughts. If it grows stronger the more you think about it. You try to think of something else. Fire, yes, that helps. You imagine fire. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it. The crackle, the light on the cave wall, the smell of wood smoke and burnt marrow. You remember the warmth. Then your eyes open again, and you are back in the cold. The fire must not go out. That's one of the few absolute truths in your world. Fire is everything. It cooks your food. It dries your tunic. It keeps predators at bay, gives a light in the endless dark, and warms your half-frozen fingers just enough to let them work another day. This morning, the embers were still glowing, barely. A shallow pit of warmth under last night's ash, like a secret someone buried and nearly forgot. If it had gone out completely, you'd be in trouble. Not apocalyptic trouble, but the kind that ruins an entire day, or more. Because making fire from scratch is a chore for the truly desperate. You've done it before. You've crouched for an hour with numb fingers, flicking sparks from flint onto a nest of dry bark and spider webs. You've blown on it gently until your cheeks ached. And when the first curl of smoke finally bloomed, you felt the kind of joy that people in other times reserve for weddings or gold. But today, you don't have to. The coals are still there, waiting, needing you. You kneel near the hearth. It's nothing grand, just a shallow circle of stones in the dirt, ringed with char and bones. You rake the ash gently, revealing the faint orange glow beneath. Still alive. Good. You add dried moss, bark, a twist of woven grass you've kept tucked in your pouch for just this reason. You place a few thin sticks over it like a careful roof. You blow, gently, slowly. A glow, a breath, a whisper of smoke. It catches. The fire shivers, then steadies. You smile. You lean back on your heels and exhale through your nose. Not quite joy, but satisfaction. A small win, one of the few things in this world that still listens when you ask nicely. Your band begins to stir. Someone grunts behind you. A cough, a scraping of feet. They see the fire and nod toward you in quiet thanks. No one claps, no one cheers, but they saw. Historians write endlessly about the control of fire, as if it were a one-time achievement, like inventing the wheel or painting a handprint on a cave wall. But in reality, fire isn't something you discover and keep. It's something you must court every single day. Feed it wrong, and it dies. Neglect it, and it leaves. You're not its master. You're its keeper. You feed the flame a thicker stick, then another. You nudge the coals so they spread evenly. The heat begins to fill the space under the rocky overhang, pushing back the cold like a slow tide. Someone hands you a pot, shaped from mud and ash, barely more than a bowl. You set it near the coals. You pour in water from the skin pouch, a handful of dried leaves, a pinch of salt. If you're lucky, it'll taste like soup. If not, it'll taste like warmth. You glance around. Someone's chewing something. Jerky, maybe. A root. Your stomach growls. You toss a few more sticks into the fire and rub your hands near the edge of the heat. The skin on your knuckles tightens. A blister near your thumb begins to sting. You wince. Someone comes to sit beside you. They don't speak. They just offer a strip of dried meat, already bitten. You take it. You nod. This is conversation. The fire snaps. A branch falls. You watch the flames curl, orange and blue, licking the air with lazy precision. This is comfort, not safety, not luxury, but something close. The fire makes you feel like maybe you can do this. Maybe you'll get through the day. Maybe you'll find more roots. Maybe you won't step on a thorn. Maybe the rain will hold off. Maybe. You press your palms close enough to the fire that they almost burn. Then you pull back. That's how it works. Always just short of pain. The fire hisses. It's alive now. You built that. And for a moment, you believe, just a little, in your own survival. Breakfast is a myth. Not the idea of it. Just the promise. Something warm. Something waiting. Something guaranteed. Here, in your world, there is no guarantee. There's only what you can find, what you can remember, what you can make do with. And this morning, that isn't much. You check the pouch on your belt. 3 acorns, a pinch of dried fern root, and a scrap of something that once might have been meat. It smells like smoke and dust. You nibble the corner. It's tough, chewy, and mostly flavorless. You swallow anyway. Someone hands you a handful of crushed seed paste, wrapped in leaves. It's bitter. You chew it slowly while staring into the fire, pretending it's something better. There's no such thing as sitting down to eat. You eat standing, walking, sometimes crouched over your own feet, fending off a dog or a curious child. The food is never enough. Not for long. You glance around the clearing. A few of the others are chewing too. One's gnawing the last bit of marrow from a cracked bone. Another is peeling bark from a birch tree and licking the sap. Everyone's eating something, or wishing they were. You wish you were. You walk toward the tree line. Maybe you'll find a few late berries clinging to a vine. Maybe a rabbit wandered too close to the path. Maybe there's a forgotten cache somewhere, a squirrel's stash, a half-eaten kill, something dropped by a careless hand. You scan as you walk. Your eyes flick over rocks, leaves, branches. Anything could be food, or not food. The difference is life and death. A low bush catches your attention. You crouch. Berries, tiny, dark, not quite ripe. You pluck one, roll it between your fingers, sniff it. It doesn't smell poisonous. You lick it. Wait. Your tongue tingles, but not in the bad way. You eat 3. Save the rest. You dig with a stick near a tree root. The soil is loose. You find something, bulbous, fibrous. You cut it with a flake of flint. Taste a sliver. It's edible, barely. You laugh once, quietly. This is breakfast. Historians categorize Stone Age diets as varied and seasonally dependent, which is a polite way of saying desperate and inconsistent. You eat what you can, when you can, and you share or you don't, depending on who's watching. You return to the camp with a bundle of roots and 5 bitter berries. You hand them to an elder with a nod. They will remember. Maybe. You sit by the fire again. Someone offers you hot water with a shred of boiled hide in it. You sip. It's faintly savory, like broth strained through regret. Still, it warms you. Your stomach quiets. Not full, just quieter. The sun climbs a little higher. You feel almost ready to face the rest of the day. Almost. You're not alone. You never are. That's the way of things in the Stone Age. You're part of a band. Sometimes 15 people, sometimes 20. It changes, like everything else. Someone leaves. Someone's taken. Someone doesn't wake up. But there are always others. You live too close to avoid them. You sleep shoulder to shoulder. You eat together, sort of. You argue, you laugh, you survive because survival alone isn't a plan. It's a hope. And hope needs more than one person. Your group is made of layers. Elders who remember the time before the glacier moved. Children who can barely walk but already understand not to touch snakes. Hunters with flint blades tucked into belts. Gatherers who never look up from the ground. And you, somewhere in the middle. You know their smells, their coughs, the sound each one makes when startled. That one with the scar on her jaw. She's got the best aim with a sling, but she sneezes before she throws. The old one with 3 teeth. He can tell if a mushroom is poisonous by smell alone, but he forgets where he puts things. Then there's the boy with the painted face. He hums when he sleeps. You think he might be touched by spirits. Or maybe he's just strange. It doesn't matter. He makes good nets. You're not friends. Not in the modern sense. There's no small talk. There are no birthdays. But you rely on each other. Deeply. Because every person is a skill, a story, a watchful pair of eyes. And you are part of them, whether you like it or not. Sometimes you envy the animals. A fox can run alone. A bird can fly wherever it wants. But you must stay close. Stray too far, and you're a shadow with no one to bury you. Still, it's not all burden. Last night, one of them handed you a bone whistle. No reason. Just placed it in your hand, nodded, walked away. You don't know what to do with it, but you keep it. Sometimes someone tells a joke that makes you snort hot tea out your nose. Sometimes you all sing the same nonsense tune for hours while you work, and it feels like home. There's a rhythm to it, a heartbeat bigger than your own. And today, that might be enough. You try to speak. The words catch in your throat, not because you're afraid, but because you're not sure what words to use. Your language is not made of long sentences. It's made of sound, motion, muscle memory. You grunt once. The woman beside you grunts back. Then gestures, a sweep of the arm, fingers curled. You understand. She found something. You ask, wordlessly, if it's worth the trouble. She shrugs. This is how you communicate. It's not crude. It's precise. You speak in tones, in facial shifts, in breath patterns, in shared context. When you mimic the rasp of a crow's call, it means danger. When you tap your chest twice, it means food. When you glance at someone and raise your eyebrows, it means, are you with me? No grammar, but no confusion either. There are words, of course. Not many, but enough. Water, fire, come, stay, die. You don't use them casually. Words are currency. You spend them when it matters. Your mouth knows how to shape a dozen sounds that mean look out, each with a different kind of urgency. Your hands know the motion for don't eat that, and he's not coming back, and share with her. Historians debate when language began. You laugh at that, because language has always been here. Maybe not carved into tablets, but painted on walls, tapped into bark, hummed in the dark. Today, you need your voice. A child has wandered too far. You hear the branches crack. You bark a short sound, one syllable, sharp. The child stops, looks, returns. You nod. They nod back. No lecture needed. Later, while gathering, you call out softly. 2 clicks and a whistle. The others know what it means. Berries ahead. Not many, but enough. Your group moves like birds, fluttering, calling, warning, responding. It is beautiful, in a way. You don't write anything down. You don't record what's said. But you speak, and you are understood. And here, that's more than most get. The plan was simple. Walk to the old pine grove, check the traps, maybe find a few mushrooms along the way, and be back before dusk. That was hours ago. Now your feet hurt, your knees ache. You've stepped in something that smells suspiciously like cat scat, and the sky, once a promising pale blue, has deepened into a bruised gray that means one thing: weather is coming. Still, you keep going, because turning back empty-handed is worse than staying out late. No one says it aloud, but everyone knows. You return with something useful, or you return with excuses, and excuses don't keep anyone fed. The world around you is strangely quiet. The wind has dropped. No birds, no squirrels. Even the flies seem to have retreated. That's not comforting. You step over a rotting log and pause. Your ears twitch like an animal's. Something is nearby. You can't see it. You can't smell it, but you feel it. A tension in the air, like the silence before a clap of thunder. You grip your walking stick tighter. Then a branch snaps, not far. Your heart jumps. You turn slowly. Nothing. But nothing in the Stone Age usually means something with teeth. You move carefully now. Each footstep deliberate, heel to toe. You've learned this. The quieter you walk, the longer you live. You make it to the grove. The traps are still there, loops of sinew set beneath low branches. One's been triggered. You crouch. Empty. The bait's gone. No blood. No fur. Just absence. You mutter a sound under your breath. Not a curse. Just an exhale shaped like disappointment. You reset the trap, hand trembling slightly. Your gut tells you you're being watched. You glance up. Still nothing. The wind returns suddenly, pushing through the trees like it's searching for someone. It scatters leaves at your feet, hissing. You take that as a sign. You begin the walk back, faster this time. The forest darkens early. Your landmarks, twisted roots, mossy rocks, the stump that looks like an old man's face, seem different in this light. The path feels longer. You slip once on wet ground, catch yourself. Keep going. A call echoes in the distance, a short, rising tone. One of your group. You answer it. Relief floods you. They're close. By the time you return to the edge of the camp, your hair is damp. Your hands are shaking. You didn't find mushrooms. The trap was empty, but you brought back a length of bark that can be boiled into a tonic. It's something. You sit by the fire, chest still tight. No one asks where you went. No one asks what you saw. You don't speak. But later, when someone offers you a sip of broth, you nod your thanks. Because the only thing more dangerous than the forest is going into it alone. You crouch low near a patch of moss, fingers gently brushing aside a layer of fallen leaves. Beneath them, if you're lucky, there will be something edible. Not delicious, just survivable. The others fan out behind you, scanning the forest floor with practiced eyes. No one speaks. Gathering is quiet work. It demands attention, memory, and patience. You spot a cluster of mushrooms, pale, frilled at the edge. You hesitate. They look familiar. But so did the ones that made Alice sick 2 moons ago. You pick one, break the stem, smell it. Still unsure, you set it aside and reach for a small tuber. This you recognize. Gnarled, earthy, bitter, but safe. You bite the corner to double-check. Your tongue tingles, but not in the wrong way. Into the pouch it goes. The rules of gathering are written nowhere, yet carved into every cautious movement. You learned them from watching, from tasting, from surviving. The first time you chewed the wrong leaf, your mouth went numb for a day. The second time, someone else didn't wake up. You don't talk about that. The forest isn't generous. It offers only what it can spare, and punishes the greedy. Today, you're gentle. You take leaves one at a time. You leave roots in place so they can grow again. You mark good spots with a tuft of grass. You glance up once and see a deer, far off, watching, then gone. You envy it, but only for a moment. You return to work. You find berries, red, clustered. You know these. Sharp, tart, good with boiled grain. You taste one, spit the seeds. Someone nearby whistles low. You look. They're holding a thick mushroom, wide as a plate. They look to you for confirmation. You shake your head slowly. They drop it. Trust is part of this, too. Later, you gather with the others and empty your pouches into a shared basket. Roots, bark, leaves, 2 eggs, found under a log. No meat, no fish. Still, it's not nothing. Historians call this the subsistence diet. But to you, it's ceremony. It's art. It's the fine line between hunger and harm. Back at the camp, someone brews a stew. You add a pinch of something green. Not for flavor, for balance. The others don't ask what it is. They trust you. And that, in this world, is as valuable as fire. The wolves came last night. You didn't see them, not clearly, but you heard them. Low howls echoing from the far hills, the kind of sound that slides through cracks in stone and finds the soft parts of your spine. The first one was distant, a single voice, uncertain. The second came closer, a chorus, and then silence. That's the worst part. The pause. Because when wolves stop howling, they're hunting. You moved closer to the fire. Everyone did. Even the ones who pretend not to be afraid. You watched the shadows. You listened for twigs snapping, for breathing where there shouldn't be breathing. You didn't sleep. Now, in the blue haze of morning, the world feels watchful. You step carefully, eyes scanning for paw prints in the mud, for fur caught on branches. Nothing. Yet, predators are part of life here. They are not monsters. They're neighbors. Deadly ones. Yesterday, you found tracks near the stream, large, deep, clawed. Not wolf category. A lynx, maybe. Or worse. You crouch near a print now. Fresh. 4 toes. No claws. That means a big cat. It stepped here not long ago. Maybe during the night. Maybe while you were asleep, curled beneath a blanket of bones and bark. You straighten, heart racing. You are not the top of the food chain. The illusion that humans rule the world. It hasn't been invented yet. You are clever, yes. You have fire, yes. But you bleed just like anything else. You grip your walking stick tighter. There is no running from this. The best you can do is notice first. Historians call this predator-prey dynamic, but that's not how it feels. It feels like being watched when you're alone, like walking into a clearing and knowing instantly that you're not alone. Sometimes you bluff, shout, bang rocks together, flash teeth you barely sharpen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Once, a boy from your group wandered off. They found his cloak days later, shredded. Nothing else. You still walk the same path every day. Because you have to. Because food doesn't find itself. Because fear doesn't keep you warm. But you move faster now. Eyes open, breath shallow. The forest is full of teeth. And none of them belong to you. You think you want to hunt. It seems noble, powerful. You imagine stalking prey through the tall grass, spear in hand, footsteps silent. You imagine the throw, the cheers, the feast. But hunting isn't like that. It's waiting. Hours of it. Stillness so deep that your legs fall asleep, your fingers lose their grip, your bladder pleads with you to move. You sit in a blind made of reeds and sticks, breath shallow, watching a clearing where nothing has moved since dawn. The hunters brought you here, 3 of them. You're not really one of them. Not yet. Maybe never. They sit like stones, motionless, eyes half-lidded. One chews bark. Another traces the shape of a god in the dirt. You try to copy them, but your foot cramps. You shift. Barely. A twig snaps. All 3 heads turn to you at once. You don't speak. Later, one of them gestures to the baited snare, still untouched. They sigh through their nose. You feel shame crawl up your neck. The prey doesn't come today. No deer, no boar, not even birds. The woods stay empty. By midday, the sun moves high and cruel, casting long shadows and drawing every scent from your body. You stink of salt and skin. You lick your lips and taste dust. Eventually, the hunters stand. One makes a gesture. Try again tomorrow. You nod. Back at camp, no one asks about the hunt. That means they already know. You chew a strip of dried root and try not to think of roasted meat. Historians write about hunting tools, atlatls, spears, nets. They write about successful kills, about strategy, but they don't always write about the silence, the boredom, the aching knees, the hunger that grows as you wait for something that may never come. You sit by the fire and clean your walking stick. It's not a spear, but it'll have to do. It happens so fast. A misstep, a sharp cry, a fall. You were gathering bark near the stream, eyes down, not thinking. You stepped wrong. Your foot slid sideways. You landed hard, ankle twisted beneath you like knotted rope. Now you're lying in the mud, gasping, clutching at your leg. The pain is instant, hot, bright, like fire under your skin. You try to stand. You cannot. Panic flutters in your chest. You swat it down. There's no one nearby. You call out. No answer. You wait. Breathing. Counting. Eventually, someone appears. Alice, carrying sticks. She sees you. Runs. She crouches beside you, checks your ankle. Swells. Frowns. Tears a strip from her tunic and binds it tight. You don't speak. There's no need. She calls to the others. They come, carry you back. You feel heavy, embarrassed, ashamed. Back at camp, they lay you near the fire. Someone brings you water. Someone else brings a poultice. It stinks of onion and moss. The elder hums over you, a low, rattling sound. You think it's a prayer. You sleep. When you wake, the pain is worse. Your ankle is a balloon, purple, pulsing. You can't walk. That's a problem, because here, mobility is everything. No one says it, but you can see it in their eyes. You are now a liability. They will not leave you, not yet. But if food grows scarce, you close your eyes. Pray for healing. Pray for time. Pray for anything but stillness. The sun doesn't rise. It just leaks upward, pale and unsatisfying, like someone poked a hole in the sky and let the light out too early. You're sitting by the fire, your injured foot propped on a folded hide, staring into the embers. You haven't said a word all morning. You don't need to. Everyone knows. He's not coming back. His name was Tor. Strong shoulders, bad knees, laughed like a goat choking. 3 days ago, he went to check a trap near the old creek. He should have been back by nightfall. He wasn't. The next morning, 2 of the men followed his trail. They found the trap, sprung. A smear of blood. Nothing else. No one asks for details. There's no ceremony, no altar, no feast of remembrance. There's just absence. 1 fewer mouth. 1 fewer voice. The group eats quietly. A stew of roots and bone broth. No one speaks Tor's name. Not yet. Not while the fire still smells of him. You remember when he fixed your spear with a bit of sinew and said nothing about the way your hands shook. You remember him singing to the baby last winter. You remember the way he always saved the last bite of meat for someone else. Now he's gone. And the camp shifts. Someone will take his place near the fire. Someone will wear his boots. You don't know if they'll find the body. You don't know if they'll try. That night, you sit by the wall of the shelter, listening to the wind. Someone begins to hum, slow, low, without rhythm. A song you all know, but never learned. You hum with them. It's not for Tor. Not exactly. It's for all the people who vanished before this fire. All the names the earth swallowed. And the silence they left behind. The cave breathes. You feel it the moment you step inside. The air cooler, damp, edged with the scent of stone and soot. Your torch flickers. Shadows twist across the uneven walls. you're not here for shelter. Not today. You're here for something older. Ritual, memory, magic. Maybe all three. The walls are covered in paint. Ochre, charcoal, crushed berry, and fat. Hands, animals, dots and swirls. Some new, some older than anyone can guess. No words, just shapes. You dip your fingers into a bowl of pigment. Red, the color of life and loss. You press your palm to the wall, leave your mark. You do not know what it means, but you feel it matters. Beside you, the elder chants softly, waving smoke from a bundle of herbs. They speak a name, maybe yours, maybe someone else's. You close your eyes. Behind your eyelids, you see bison thundering across a plain, fire blooming in the darkness, a woman's face you don't recognize, a baby laughing, a wolf blinking slowly in the snow. The smoke makes you dizzy, or maybe the stone does. You sit, you listen, you belong. Historians call these cave markings art, but they're more than that. They're survival stories, prayers, warnings, victories, a way to say, I was here, I lived, I mattered. You don't know if your handprint will last. The rain might wash it away. Another tribe might paint over it. The cave might collapse. But for now, it's there. A red palm pressed against a stone older than time. You exhale. The fire crackles, and the cave continues to breathe. The storm arrives without warning. One moment, the air is still. The next, it collapses, wind rushing through the trees like a beast let loose. You grab the child nearest you and run for the shelter. Others follow. Bark flies past. A pot shatters. The fire dies. Rain slaps the earth sideways. You huddle inside, soaked within seconds. The roof leaks. The corners pool with water. The walls shudder. Someone shouts. Someone prays. You clutch your knees and listen. To the tearing branches. The snapping poles. The groan of the forest. You feel useless. You want to help. Patch the roof. Tie down the hides. But your ankle throbs, useless as a broken bowstring. So you sit. You wait. You hope. When it ends, the silence is worse than the storm. You step outside into a world smeared with mud and debris. A child's cloak flutters from a tree. Your firewood is gone. The stew pot is upside down in a puddle. But you are alive. And so is most of the group. You begin again. Pick up the sticks. Dry what you can. Rebuild. Because that's all you can do. They watch you. Always. The children. Eyes like wet stones, wide and unblinking, peeking from under hides and behind legs. They see everything. The way you limp when you think no one notices. The way your fingers shake when you string a net. The way your breath catches each time a shadow moves too fast. You don't teach them with lessons. You teach them by living. When you kneel to dig roots, they copy the curve of your spine. When you tie knots, they sit close and stare. When you wince, they remember. You are their teacher, whether you want to be or not. Today, your daughter, though there is no word for daughter in your band, just a name and the unspoken claim of care, asks you to show her how to find the good leaves, the ones that don't burn the tongue. You take her to the ridge, where the soil smells rich and the sun hits just right. You crouch beside her and press her hand to the ground. Here, you say, see how the roots are loose? That's where it grows. She nods solemnly. You pretend you're not proud. Later, she mimics your walk. She leans on a stick, favoring her left leg. You laugh, quietly, then stop, because you realize she's not pretending. She's preparing. In this world, children don't wait to grow up. They climb into it, day by day, by firelight and hunger and imitation. And you are the model, even when you don't want to be. You show them how to find food, how to hide fear, how to endure pain without crying out. You wonder what that will make them. But you don't stop, because they are watching, and they must learn, or they won't last. They arrive at dusk. Not wolves, not bears. Other people. You see them first, 3 shapes at the edge of the clearing, shadows moving wrong, too tall, two-legged, carrying spears. Your breath catches. Your group gathers quickly, no panic, but tension snaps through the air like a thrown net. The newcomers approach slowly, hands visible, not smiling. You've seen this before. Sometimes it means trade. Sometimes it means death. No one speaks. The elder steps forward, raises both hands. The strangers do the same. They stop 10 paces away. You take inventory. 1 older man, lean. 1 woman with sharp eyes. 1 youth, half a head taller than you, gripping a club too tight. They say nothing. Then the woman gestures. Food. You recognize the sign. She's hungry. Your elder nods. You offer them a strip of bark, a sliver of boiled root. They eat without thanks. The youth eyes your tools. You keep your spear close. After a while, the visitors leave. No violence, no gifts, just presence. You breathe again. Historians speak of tribal networks, of peaceful exchanges and shared rituals. But you know better. Other people mean risk. They mean stories told later in hushed tones. He looked at the baby too long. She had a necklace like my sister's. They never blinked. Tonight, the fire is smaller, tighter. You sleep closer, and dream of eyes that never stop watching. You thought you led once, when you were younger, louder, before pain made you careful. You thought that choosing a path or finishing a hunt made you in charge. But leadership in your band is not about volume or force. It's about trust and endurance and silence. Today, someone else makes the decisions. Where to walk, when to stop, who gets the last of the broth. You don't argue. Not because you agree, but because it doesn't matter. Your voice is not the loudest anymore. You help where you can. You bind wounds. You tie knots. You watch. You still know more than most. But knowing doesn't mean controlling. It just means surviving longer. Sometimes someone asks your opinion. You give it gently. Other times they don't. You listen anyway. Because that's what leaders do, even when they're no longer followed. They pair you off after the thaw. 2 bands meet. Trade is good. There's food, there's warmth, and there are too many eyes. A woman from the other group, older, strong, face lined like bark, takes your hand and places it in his. That's it. You're joined now. You don't know his name. He smells like smoke and fish. He doesn't speak much. You lie beside him that night on a blanket of dry moss. He doesn't touch you. Yet. You stare at the cave ceiling. This is marriage. No ceremony. No ring. Just logistics. 2 bodies. 2 skill sets. A shared fire. You don't know how you feel. That doesn't matter. Love isn't real here. Not the way it's sung in later stories. Here, it's function. Maybe someday there will be fondness. Maybe not. You close your eyes. You try not to think of your freedom, because that, too, is seasonal. You try to sleep. But sleep is not simple. It's crowded. Someone snores. Someone kicks. The baby cries. The wind moans through the gaps in the rock. You share your sleeping space with 6 others tonight. There is no pillow, just folded hide. There is no blanket, just shared heat. You curl toward the fire. It's not close enough. He shifts beside you. You breathe through your nose and stay still. You are not afraid, but you are not at ease. Outside, something howls. Everyone goes quiet. Then the fire pops, and the world begins again. You fall asleep in pieces, 10 minutes at a time, between the cold and the noise and the ache in your foot. But eventually, the dark softens, and you drift. You dream of something warm, a soft bed, a full belly, a world without teeth. You don't know where the image comes from. No one's told you such a thing exists. But in the dream, there's light, and bread, and laughter that doesn't feel like survival. You hold a child. Yours, maybe. You sit by a river. Your legs don't hurt. And for the first time in a long time, you are still. Not hiding, not hungry, just still. Then the fire crackles, and you wake. The world returns, sharp-edged, damp. But for a moment, you hold on to the dream, because even here, in this brutal now, the mind can wander and find something almost like hope. You find the cave again, the one with the old paintings. You bring a torch, a piece of charcoal, your hand. You press your palm to the stone. Leave a mark, a silhouette of skin and heat and breath. Others are there too, faded, ancient, familiar. You trace them with your fingers. Someone lived here before you. Someone will come after. You don't know their names. They won't know yours. But they'll see your hand, and they'll know you were here. You lived. You fought. You hungered. You endured. And when your bones are dust, this mark may remain, a whisper to the dark. I was. You blow out the torch and walk back into the cold. The fire is low again, just embers now, breathing softly, pulsing in the dark like the memory of warmth. You lie on your side, wrapped in hide, spine curved like a question you've asked 1,000 times. The cave is quiet, save for the hush of sleeping breath, the distant drip of water from stone. Outside, the stars spin overhead. You don't know their names, but you've always known how to read them. They say the season will change soon, that there may be snow, that the elk will return. Maybe. You feel your heartbeat in your fingertips. You feel the cold at your heels. You feel the ache behind your eyes that has nothing to do with light and everything to do with weariness. You are still here. That's enough. The others sleep beside you, close as roots beneath the same tree. You know their scents, their size, the way they turn in the dark. You don't need words. You never did. You think of the mark you left on the cave wall. Your hand, small, stained red, reaching. Not for anything. Just to say, I existed. You close your eyes. The ache in your ankle fades. The fire hums. Your breath slows. Let the world turn. Let the wolves howl. Let the wind scrape the mountain's face. You are wrapped in the old quiet now, the deep one, the kind that came before language. You don't need a dream, not tonight. You have a fire. You have a name, even if no one will remember it. And you have made it through one more day, in a world that forgets people quickly. Sleep now. The stone will remember. The stars will keep watch. And morning, like fire, will come again.
order.